The highest damaging DPS build in Guild Wars 2 PvE right now is Condition Mirage. It reaches 53k DPS on the Golem. It's amazing. It's really strong. Even in real fight, it will be top DPS if you slightly know what you're doing. And yes, it has a high mastery curve and it's hard to play, but if you watch this whole video, you should be able to pull it off at least decently, and in real fights it will be top DPS. It has amazing mobility, a very cool rotation, has actually self-stability providing, and has a rather short ramp-up time for a condition build, while also obviously having really good sustained damage, and is just really fun to play. You know, what do you want more from a build? This is amazing, and I want to showcase this build today and explain everything that you need to know about it. As always, special shout out to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon to help me keep the lights on. Now without much further ado, let's jump straight in and let's start with the disclaimer. I did not come up with this build, I just want to promote it. Special shout out to Snowgrows and Mastro for not only providing this build, link to their website is in the description below if you want to see a written rotation, and also allowing me to use their rotation. All credits to them. Special shout out again. For the gear, it's really straightforward. You want to go full Viper gear. Viper, every single slot. Armor, weapons, trinkets. If you can afford infusions, you would go with malign infusions or condition damage infusions, but of course they're not necessary. But in this build they help obviously to get the 53k. Superior Rune of the Trapper is a must. It's really strong here. It's amazing. It's just really good how much condition damage and condition duration you get. Just really strong. Then for weapons, you want to go with Staff, Axe and Torch. For your sigils there, you want to go Energy on both weapon sets for sure. However, on the Staff you want to run Superior Sigil of Torment, and on the Torch you want to run Superior Sigil of Earth. This is really important. But both weapon sets of course want to have Energy so that you get one more ambush skill, but we will get to that in a second. For your trinkets, again, full Viper. And for your Relic, the best damaging option would be Relic of Pater, but this is really important that this is really rotation dependent. It only reaches the highest damage number if you really strictly and rigidly follow the rotation. If you have to alter your rotation and if you can't do that perfectly, then the best alternative is the Fractal Relic. Fractal Relic gives you minus 1k DPS if you would do the rotation perfectly. But if you struggle to get the rotation perfectly down, Fractal Relic is way more forgiving and you will probably have higher DPS with it. Keep that in mind. And in some fights, Relic of the Mirage is actually really strong as well, because you have in 1 second ICD whenever you evade an attack, and you evade a lot with this build, not only because of your normal evade, but also with your mirrors and also with your shatters and with your X skills. So it's actually really strong how much you evade, and every time you evade an attack, you have to evade an attack, not just dodging, evade an attack. That means you will inflict some torment. On some bosses, raid bosses, this can actually be worthwhile and be the best relic choice there. For example, Greer and Ura of the Wing 8 can be worthwhile to run this, but there are other examples as well. This is just a niche thing if you want to min-max even further. But now let's talk about the utility and food consumables. So for utility and food consumables, there is only one choice. You want to go with Master Tuning Crystals or something that gives similar amount of stats. But for food, it's always Meaty Asparagus Skewers. It's amazing, plus 15% increased torment duration and 70 condition damage. It's the best food. There is no ascended variant of that, so just get that one. Before I go to the traits, I want to mention, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. But now let's talk about the traits. So for the traits, you want to go Chaos, Illusions and Mirage. Let's start with Illusions because it's the damaging trait line. Gives you a lot of shatter damage increase with the duration increase of Confusion and an additional stack. You're obviously a Connie build, really strong. You get some damage increase whenever you create an illusion, really nice. Power and condition damage, you scale with both, really good. And your shatter skills get reduced recharge, obviously really strong. Not only in offensive way, but also defensive way, because you get, for example, your invulnerability more often. Then the Pledge, just more damage on your torch skills, really nice. Then whenever you shatter, inflict torment, really good, more damage, really good. Malicious Sorcery is a weird trait. Whenever you dodge an attack, you inflict confusion on the attacker. That's okay, but you can't do that reliably, you know? That is exactly the same with the Mirage Relic. You can, on some bosses, dodge a lot of attacks and therefore get a lot of confusion, and with the Mirage Relic even torment. But you can't get that in some fights where there is no attack to dodge, even though you would be dodging all the time. So this, you take this trait mostly for the confusion you inflict has increased duration. That means just more damage. 25% more longer duration means you get more damage out of confusion. But of course the evade can be quite nice as well. So really good, nice damaging trait line. Then Chaos is a really interesting trait line because it's some kind of boon providing and utility trait line while also being best DPS trait line. So you get some regen when you use a healing skill, okay, not that good. But you get Chaos Aura when you use your F-Tour, and you use it quite often. Chaos Aura itself is not that crazy good, but it will give you, for 5 seconds, a 7% condition damage increase, and you can stack that up to 15 seconds. So you actually want to upkeep that as much as you can in real fights to get the most amount of condition damage all the time. You should be able to actually get that quite consistently because you take Method of Madness, which means whenever you use a healing skill, you create a lesser Chaos Storm, which is a ethereal field, and if you port through it with your multiple port and leap finishers, you actually get Chaos Armor, which again procs this trait to get Illusionary Membrane. So keep that in mind. Then you also get more concentration and expertise while affected by region, which should be always the case. Not only because you provide it sometimes to yourself when you use a healing skill, but you also get that from your allies, obviously, from your healer typically. The concentration is not that crazy, but the expertise is good, of course, because you want to get as much expertise as possible to get more condition duration. Then you take Chaotic Potency, of course, more condition damage, and even more condition damage while you wield a staff, and you get less recharge on your skills. Really good, more damage. Just really, really strong trait. And then the next one is really interesting. You take Bountiful Disillusionment. This is a really, really strong trait. You provide some boons to your allies, Might, Vigor, Fury, Stability, and after the balance patch, you will get, instead of the stability here on the distortion, you will give some region. Okay, good. But the important part here is also that you get the self-stability only for yourself for 5 seconds whenever you shatter, and you shatter a lot. So you have almost permanent stability in this build. It's really crazy. It's really, really strong. Just you don't care if your support gives you stability or not. You will either dodge or have stability. It's really, really strong. Now let's talk about Mirage. Mirage get access to Mirage Cloak, so you can't dodge in like normal ways anymore. But if you dodge, you evade attacks, and you can get access to your Ambush attack. Your Ambush attack will alter your one skill, and this will be able to deal more damage. For example, on Staff, you get some really nice linear attack that does some heavy damage, and on Exit also does some Torment in there. It's a really strong attack, and you only get access to this for 1.5 seconds after dodging. Shatter skills give Vigor, and Vigor increases your power and condition damage, while also, of course, increasing your endurance region. Really, really strong, so you really want to have permanent Vigor on this build to get more damage. And then Mirage Cloak increases your movement speed. Okay, you just move a little bit faster because you don't move at all normally with Mirage Cloak. You just get some movement speed increase. Then Self-Deception, that's a really, really important trait because it helps you getting a clone out when you already have one if you use a Deception skill. In this build, you have Crystal Sands, which is a Deception skill, and you have Chaunt, an instant cast Deception skill that repositions and is a leap finisher. Really, really good to proc and get another clone out. It only works in combat if you already have a clone up, so keep that in mind. And then Phantom Pain, really important here. It increases your damage like insane on power and condition damage, and whenever you use a Shatter skill. Increasing per clone shattered, it's amazing, it's really strong, crazy amount of damage increase, really, really crazy. That's the main trait that got reworked that make this build actually possible, together with this trait. Dune Cloak is now insane. Whenever you shatter, any shatter, with 2 or 3 clones, you get Mirage Cloak. So you get access to your Ambush skill and you evade attacks for 1 second. So it's really, really strong already. But gaining Mirage Cloak recharges Mind Freak and Cry of Frustration for 2 seconds. That's like insane. Whenever you get Mirage Cloak, by any way, either by dodging, by getting this via this trait, by shattering 2 or 3 clones, or by, for example, creating a mirror with Crystal Sands, whenever this happens, you get Mirage Cloak, you get 2 seconds recharge reduction on your F1 and F2. So you can spam your damaging skills more often, and if you create more clones, you can then therefore shatter them with 2 or 3 clones again, and create again this trait. So it's a cycle, and it's really, really strong. Those 2 traits made this possible that this build now reaches 53k in an ideal case. It's insane. Now let's talk quickly about the skills. I already mentioned some of them. Of course, your F1 for power damage and a lot of torment. The F2 for nice confusion and torment as well. And of course, chaos armor. Then you get diversion for a CC skill. Again, all the shatters will give you the Mirage Cloak if you have 2 or 3 clones, so it's really, really potent. But this one you can of course save for some CC. Therefore, some nice stability for your allies as well, and is of course invulnerability, so save that if you need it, but it's obviously also useful if you want to just shatter to get more ambush skills out. Then your X skills, obviously potent, auto attack really strong, ambush really strong, just some damage. Melee attack of course. The tool skill is a repositioning tool, keep that in mind. You go through the enemies with that typically, can be really bad at some situations, so be careful with that, but it's a world finisher, it's a nice damaging skill and creates a clone at the end. The 3 skill is really nice because it's an evade, but it's also repositioning and it's some kind of like leap, so keep that in mind. It can be a little bit nasty to use sometimes, so it's nice for the evade, but it's a little bit weird, and it also breaks enemy targeting, so for whatever reason, if you want to retarget your clones, can be really, really strong. And then you have your 4 skill, just some nice stealth and the Condi Cleanse. When you come out, it's a blast finisher and you deal some heavy burning damage, that's why you take this of course. And then you have Phantasmal Mage, just a Phantasm that does a lot of burning, confusion and some CC when it does its attack. Then you have Staff. Staff is really strong now because you get, of course, Chaos Aura, which gives you the proc of the Illusionary Membrane trait. Then you get your Chaos Storm, which is a nice CC. But if you port through it with your Chaunt or with your Phase Retreat or even with your Axis of Symmetry, you actually get the Chaos Armor again. And then you get this, again, this trait proc. So really nice skill, really important for some Confusion Bolts as well. If you use a World Finisher, really, really strong. And of course, Phantasmal Warlock, it's really nice for Torment, just really good. 2 Illusions summoned, that's quite nice, so you will get also 2 clones that you can shatter then. Phase Retreat is again repositioning you, so be careful with that, but it's an instant cast, so you can use it while casting other stuff. And then you have your auto attack. It's not that good, but the ambush is really, really strong. Always spam, of course, the auto attack and the ambushes if you don't have any other skills up, but we will get to the rotation in a sec. Let's first cover the utility skills. You always want to take Signet of Ether for the active, which resets all your illusions. So all the cooldowns of your illusions are reset, so you can use them often. Of course, that's really good for some more damage. It will also proc the trait that you get the lesser Chaos Storm on that. So you can actually gain a lot of value just from getting the Chaos Storm again. So 2 Chaos Storms for the procs, really strong. Then you use Crystal Sense. Crystal Sense, like I said, deception skill, so creates a clone if you already have one present. And it's just some really nice damage, really good. And of course, because of the Mirage mirror that you get, you can again use the ambush again and can also get the recharge on your F1 and F2. So really, really good synergy. Then you take 2 Signets, Signet of Midnight and Signet of Domination, just for more Condi damage and expertise. You would typically not use them. This one is a nice stun, but you would really not want to waste them. And this one is on Sunbreak if you really wanted to, but be careful, they are really important for just damage increases. If you want to swap your utility skills, the first one you would swap is Signet of Domination. For example, for Portal, if you want to portal your allies, if you want to go for Blink, if you want to do a Reflect. There are so many options, you know. You could even bring, if you really wanted to give more stability, get some wound removal. There are so many options, yeah. It's just crazy how good Mesmer utility skills are, but this is obviously the like 90% of the cases you would use this just for the most damage. And then you use Chaunt all the time. It's amazing. Instant cast leap finisher that applies some confusion, cleanses a condition, and is a deception skill, so therefore it will give you a clone when you already have one present. Really, really strong. You used it, of course, all the time for your combos. Now let's talk about the rotation. So here in the background you can see the benchmark by Mastro. Thanks that I can use it here and showcase it. This is a perfect rotation. You will probably not reach it, but I will explain how it works. And it is not easy to get to, but if you manage it, it's amazing. 53k on average, it's really, really strong. So let's talk about it. What's the opener? In the opener, you want to start with the Phantasmal Warlock into Phase Retreat. It's instant cast. Then you use Chaunt into Chaos Armor. All of those are instant cast. Then you use your Chaos Storm into 1 dodge weapon swap. And then use Imaginary Access, so your ambush skill here. Then you use Lingering Thoughts into Chaunt into 1 shatter. Then you use your Axis of Symmetry into Imaginary Access again, into Torch 4, into Phantasmal Mage and a dodge. Use your Imaginary Access into Lingering Thoughts and another shatter. Then you use Imaginary Access again into Crystal Sense. Use Signet of Ether. While you do that, collect the Mirage Mirror and use Imaginary Access. Use your Phantasmal Mage into 1 dodge, another Imaginary Access. Use Lingering Thoughts into a shatter, into another Imaginary Access. Then use Axis of Symmetry into your dodge, into another Imaginary Axis. Use Lingering Thoughts into a shatter and another Imaginary Axis. You can see this whole rotation is evolving a lot about the ambush skills of X. Then you weapon swap, and then you're in the Staff loop. In Staff, you want to use a Phantasmal Warlock into Chaos Armor, into dodge, into Chaos Vortex. So your ambush skill on Staff, use your Phase Retreat and fill with some auto attacks until you can shatter and use Chaos Vortex. Then you fill again with some auto attacks until you have 2 clones and shatter again, use a Chaos Vortex again. Then you fill with some auto attacks and then you use, towards the end of the Staff loop, you use your Chaos Storm into Phase Retreat as soon as it's off cooldown and use your Warlock and dodge and weapon swap and you're back into this X loop and would start with Imaginary Axis. So the rotation is not that easy, like I said, but always when you shatter, that's what I mentioned here, you want to use the shatter priority of using Cry of Frustration over Mindfrag. So F2 over F1 over F3. You will not use your F4 if you don't have to, but you can of course use it as well. Always try to shatter with 2 clones to maximize Doomcloak uptime, of course. If you have any Chaunt overflowing charges, you can easily use 3 clones for Cry of Frustration to get even more damage out of that. And be careful with Lingering Thoughts, so your 2 skill on X, that it only creates a clone after a short delay after you finish casting the skill. So you will not be able to shatter instantly. It will have to wait a little bit of time after you used it. So you can see how strong this build is. It's really, really good. Even if you don't do the rotation perfectly, you have amazing DPS output already. And what can I say? Did not get nerfed in the last few weeks. So I guess Arena Net is fine with this high damage number. We will see if it stays like that, but it's a really, really strong build. It's really fun. It's really challenging. So if you're looking for a really fun and challenging and really strong build right now, this is probably the best choice right now. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Shout out again to Snowcross and Mastro for coming up with this build and the cool rotation. Thanks for that. Be sure to check out the website in the description below. Special shout out as well to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon that help me keep the lights on. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video.